Lift the veil forever. What's up? I see there's some deleted messages. I wonder what those were. Were they bad messages? I saw some people out threatening my safety. My ex friends. That's all right. I don't watch it. Other people watch it for me and then make recordings. My ex friends, the ones who are gang stalking me and who gang stalk other people on the internet, say I need to get my ass beat. So, oh, I see. Lestat LARP victim survivor. I see. Huh. Interesting. I wonder how Lestat's doing. I wonder how all those characters are doing. They seem to be suffering a great deal. What's up, everybody in the chat who doesn't even know what I'm talking about? I'm here. I'm alive. I'm well. I had a panic attack last night. I almost drove myself to the hospital, though, thinking about living in my car. Weekends. It turns out those are the toughest days to survive when you're homeless. So, still working on it. Still coming up with plans. Still changing my mind about everything every single day. But here, alive. Bitcoin's up today. Hit 110 today. Silver was up today. It hit 37 today. So those things are good. And I didn't sell any in the last little bit of time. Yesterday was a good day for donations. That was good. That makes the demons very upset. They get very angry when people donate to my show and support me. But yeah, K Bright, oh man, being homeless sucks. But I'm going to go to social services. I think I have a plan. Going to go to social services tomorrow and see what they can set up. And then I'll see what I can do on the weekends. During the week, like Sunday through Thursday night, I could stay in a campsite if I wanted to for like $35 a day. But I don't think I want to do that either. Now that I had my panic attack last night, thinking about changing things, I'm a very delicate being. So, and I'm not probably able to handle certain things, it turns out. So, yeah, I was just thinking about it, thinking about sleeping in my car, and I was like, oh, I don't think I can do that. Yeah, and I was like looking at the address to the hospital. It was like 11:30 last night. It was like time to be sleeping. Couldn't sleep, couldn't stay awake. Couldn't sleep, couldn't stay awake. Like it's like, I don't know if you ever experienced that kind of insomnia. It's like, it's like it's like this weird, it's the worst feeling on earth. It's like you have to move around for some reason. I went out to get an ice cream at McDonald's. Nuckfugget, homelessness builds character. Yes. I agreed to a life of suffering. I agreed to suffer for infinity. And I suffer for my art, just like many great artists before me. I could choose to die and be famous forever, like Isaac Kappy. And someone could take my spirit, take my avatar. Like there's a character on Twitter who's very like popular on Twitter, Isaac's Army, I believe he's called. Uses an avatar of Isaac with like glowing eyes, which is kind of like Bitcoin actually. Has very high engagement on Twitter. Isaac was more famous than me during his real lifetime, in a way. Yeah, he was during his lifetime. But then again, I was rebroadcasting his Periscope streams on YouTube and making him famous on YouTube. And then he decided to come on my show. But it's weird knowing that, you know? I think it's why they kill everybody off. So, but I know that. I know that if I died the next day, or, you know, I would be very well known. But until my death, I suffer in obscurity. I do things for the limited amount of people who think they understand what I'm talking about. I was talking about her. Is it Barnes in Australia? They came out with like a dossier to discredit her. It's not Barnes. Fiona Barnett. Fiona Barnett, genuine victim of satanic ritual abuse. Talked about a death and rebirth ceremony. Actually, some like I think I was talking to somebody about it today. Actually, like Nicole Kidman's father was implicated, and like so much so that the government recognized that it was true what she was saying. But Isaac Kappy went to hang out with her. I went through a period in 2017, a stretch where I had a bunch of them on my show together. It was like Isaac, and then I think David Schurter, maybe, or I'd had David Schurter on before. Fiona Barnett came on my show, and then Vegan Mikey. And they were all really big shows, and it was the time my channel did the best. It was monetized for some reason. My channel got like re-monetized. I was making money from YouTube, but it led to all kinds of terrible things. And that was when I realized it would bleed over into my household, you know? Like in the end, like Katie got mad at me for having on Vegan Mikey. Like it was my fault that I had him on. I shouldn't have ever had him on because he was a scammer. And in a way, he was a scammer, like he was a drug addict. But I don't disbelieve the things he said, Vegan Mikey. He remembered like being hunted as a child and stuff. Voodoo Donuts Voodoo Donuts is legitimate. Like, I mean, they do have satanic donuts, and they do use the swirl as their symbol. Definitely, like you say, Jammers, that place was suspicious to say the least. And then there were guys tied to Pizzagate. Scott something or other. And I even called him on one of my D-Live streams because his phone number was posted somewhere, and I called him. I was like, do you remember talking to this guy, Vegan Mikey? Because Vegan Mikey remembered a conversation with him. They went from what was the Pizzagate place called? What was the pizza shop called? I can't remember. But they went from there to Portland, Oregon, and they made coffins. And apparently they made child-sized coffins. And apparently they made child-sized coffins for Voodoo Donuts, where you could get like however many donuts, 24 donuts or whatever, in a child coffin, basically. Comet Pizza. So there are real connections there, but you see the demons come out when you have those people on. And everybody rushed to discredit him, and then I had to distance myself from him just because he lied about having a criminal record. But in the end, it wasn't anything that major. He had like thrown his cell phone at his girlfriend once, something like that. But I think he was like a heroin addict, and like he was lying about stuff like that. So thanks, Blazing Scar. I see you commenting on my comment. I have people out there looking out for me. I don't follow the demons. I have other people do that for me now. So I don't have to combat them except with my mind. So that's great. And they don't even show up in my chat anymore. I guess they know better than to mess with me. Although Eon will, you son of a bitch. You pretended to be my friend, you fucker. Go ahead. You think I should get my ass beat? Go ahead. See what you can do to me. Let's see what it does to you and your people. Top feed Coco and you idiots. I know you watch my show. You're watching every minute of it and just fuming. So sad for you. What a sad existence you have. Following around Thomas Schoenberger, Sophia Music. Very sad existence. Now you're learning what it's like, I guess. I can hear it in your voices. I tuned into the Hoax Wars show. I heard Hoax Wars spiraling. I heard it. And I was like, and I felt good about it too, to be honest, even though I'm not supposed to enjoy other people's suffering. I did enjoy it. I could hear it. You were drunk, Daniel. And like you couldn't, there are people in there who I think are after you, who are pretending to be your friends. I think, from what I could tell. I think those people might know what you're doing, and they're just playing along, to be honest. So enjoy it. You know how karma works. Enjoy it. I know how it works. So come at me, bro. You'll find out. And you're finding out now, which is kind of cool. So I didn't realize what was happening while it was happening, but it's crazy, fucked up. But you know who I am. Sophia Music knows who I am. He doesn't fuck with me. He knows not to fuck with me. Thomas Schoenberger. Otherwise, he would email me when I mentioned his name and so forth. I warned Isaac Kappy about him. And, as far as I can tell, the same evil spirits that were after me, trying to get me to commit suicide, are the ones that did it to Isaac Kappy, as far as I can tell. Drove him to suicide. But I tried to warn him. I warned him in my interview. I told him, I said, you be careful. But it's all right. He's here. He's here with us. So that's good. He's here with us. So that's good. People, we have to go sometimes. Like we can't exist here anymore. It's like too difficult for us. We have to go and work on a higher plane. So that's what Isaac does now. So we have his spirit. So that's good. And his spirit is a good spirit. So yeah, I remember his music videos. I used to play him on my show. Very talented individual. Yeah, we used to play his videos. Yeah, and enjoy it and stuff. Yeah, R.I.P. Isaac Kappy. Poor guy. He was right in that Hollywood circle. He might have attacked Paris Hilton. And then I had a personal connection to him also through Seth Green. Like my best friend from college was like best friends with Seth Green, and they were making a movie with him and Macaulay Culkin in Thailand or whatever. And then Macaulay Culkin was on Joe Rogan and talked about how he got worms from eating ass, basically. He said he got it from a kitten, but it was basically like he got like some kind of venereal disease from a prostitute over there, it sounded like, to me at least. And then Vegan Mikey had stories about Macaulay Culkin being at these parties and stuff. So it was like, it's kind of weird that I had a personal connection to that. And like my friend thought maybe I was going after him, and I kind of fucked things up for him, actually, which I regret. But it's just one of those weird coincidences. Like my best friend from college was like best friends with Seth Green, who Isaac Kappy, he like made a movie with him that I think got fucked up a little bit because of what we were talking about on the show. But Macaulay Culkin, and then the other Culkin was in the TV show Succession with my girlfriend from college. But I don't know if Seth Green was involved in anything. Like that story, though, I don't believe. Like, I don't believe Seth Green was involved in, like, that chicken story and stuff. I think that, I think Isaac Kappy was, like, making stuff up in his head a little bit. He's mentally ill, just like me, bipolar and stuff, just like me. So, and like things could go sideways from him for him from smoking weed, just like me. So I didn't see I did watch Civil War. I thought it was kind of stupid. It was more about like journalists. It was kind of about journalists, sort of following people that were involved in this Civil War. Yeah, I did watch it. I was looking forward to it because I was like, oh, Civil War. Oh, I see. There's supposed to be riots everywhere on June 14th, which is Flag Day, Trump's birthday. And oh, I see. June 14th. I see. Oh, okay. Well, then that makes sense. Yeah, June 14th, there's going to be a big parade. They were talking about that they've been talking about that on the news. Bunch of tanks and stuff being brought into DC. They're talking about them tearing up the streets, and it's like $40 million, which really isn't that much. America's been around 250 years. I don't know why they're celebrating it this year. Maybe somebody can tell me. I thought if it, like, isn't it 1776? So wouldn't that make it 2026? Isn't it 2025 this year? Bipolar is a superpower. That means you're able to actually transform reality with your mind. That's why they go after us. I was talking to somebody about it today. I was having a consultation phone call, and I am available for consultations for people who want to talk to me and about the things I talk about, which are a little bit deep and stuff. I talk about how I have to observe the quantum field and like watch the news and pay attention to things. It's because I have the power to change reality with my mind, just like all of us do, because reality only exists inside of our minds. Apparently, Stephen King just wrote, there's a Stephen King movie that just came out. I just heard about it, where everybody's committing suicide because, like, it's the end of the world and stuff. And there's some scene where one of the characters goes to this kid and says, what exists here inside your mind? And it's literally everything. The entire universe. It's created and recreated every time you blink your eyes. Everything is recreated. The entire universe from the beginning to the end. Everything, the entire timeline, all of world history. Dinosaurs, if there were dinosaurs, asteroids, floods, ice ages, everything you know, everything you've learned. Everything you perceive as reality from the beginning of time until this moment right now is created every single moment. If you're bipolar, if you have ADHD, if you believe in Jesus Christ, you have superpowers. You have the power to change reality every time you blink your eyes. But there are evil spirits that know that and want to gaslight you to change your perception of reality, to make it more like they want reality to be. They don't have the ability that you have. They don't have the superpowers that you have. Most likely they don't understand the teachings of the Messiah, the one true Messiah, Jesus Christ. Mostly the one about how you can't have two masters. You can't love God and money at the same time, which is the most difficult thing to understand. They want power. They seek power. They seek dominance. They seek to control your mind. Your mind. My mind in particular. So they tried to gaslight me into changing my perception of reality, because my perception of reality is very important because of the bloodline I come from. and because of my unique gifts. But it's not just me, it's people that follow me, people that listen to me, people who understand what I'm saying. So, Synth Samurai, yeah, you say Isaac didn't kill himself. He kind of did, I think, but he also he was driven to suicide, the way I almost was. And actually, every day I have. I mean, last night I was like, you don't want to know what's going through my mind. It's like, what do I do? Like, what do I do? It's actually almost a lot of it is just because of money, thinking about how to survive in this matrix. A lot of it is just literally financial. It's like, oh, how am I going to get by day to day? And like, be sane. So I'm going to let the state take care of me, I think, as much as possible, because I am mentally ill. I am handicapped. So I might have to stay in homeless shelter this weekend. I'm not sure. Blazing Scar, yeah, that's exactly what I'm talking about right now. Don't do camping, etc. Your mental health will go downhill. Have to be happy where you sleep. Yeah, I know. It's the most difficult thing for me. Is like I have to be in a comfortable environment. So I think I can do a homeless shelter if I have to. So I'm going to go see social services tomorrow. Just see what I can do. And I still have savings. So if I have to stay in the hotel another weekend, I got a bunch of donations yesterday. Some guy gave me 100 coffees. So then maybe that's a sign. That would put me up for the weekend. But what is that, Sewer King, that you're posting? Is that something somebody said to you? It says, beyond that, as you know, Nathan Stoltman, we are informed has since been hospitalized in a psychiatric ward in San Luis Obispo County, California, is someone with whom you have associated? What is that, Sewer King? I'm trying to understand. Oh, that's what TS's lawyer said in his demand letter to you. He wasn't, he's wrong, actually. Oh, I've acted as an agent of yours? Well, I certainly have not. We don't even talk, Sewer King. You know that. We don't talk. I see you in my comment. The only interactions we ever have is me talking to you in the chat. I can, that's 100% true. So whatever, they can take that statement. I'll just say it. We never, um, in my recollection, have ever spoken directly to one another. I've seen your show. I've talked to you in chat. That's it. So he's saying that he's claiming that you're working with him. Well, he's not emailing me. And he has left me alone for a long time. Trying to feel his presence. I know he works with Saint Germain. It's a very powerful entity. These other beings are basically avatars of his. He thinks he can control them. I've just doubled my vision. I'm just trying to think. I don't think you have anything to be concerned about, Sewer King. I don't even know your name. And I don't know if Pavana is your wife's real name. You have lawyers, his lawyer. I doubt he has a lawyer. I don't think he has money. Not much, at least. He grifts money off of women. He grifts money off of women, but he's gotten a lot older. He's fat and he's very unhealthy. So he just doesn't have the same ability or the same charm as he had in his youth to be able to take advantage of women the way he used to. He was able to get a lot of money from them before. I'm just analyzing it. I'm not looking at the chat. I've doubled my vision. One moment. He's at the end of his rope. That's why he's launching lawsuits. Fake lawsuits. They're fake lawsuits. Just like Dave Acton used to do. I don't think you have anything to be concerned about, Sewer King. Yeah, it was probably TS who wrote it. It was probably him. It's just like they've done before. They named me in lawsuits before. They got Jason Goodman to launch lawsuits against people, and they would threaten me with things, send letters to my house through like Dave Acton, Dave Swigert, who was up there at Mount Shasta, which is where Saint Germain first came down. There's just a certain energy about Mount Shasta. That's where Saint Germain first gave his I am teachings. I am the resurrection and I am the light. I don't think you have anything to be concerned about. Blaze and Scar, I'm glad you're out watching them. That's good. Yeah, they're claiming you control me. Nobody controls me. I get all my information from directly through divination, basically. I don't watch anything. I don't watch your show. I don't watch. I did tune into Hoax Wars because I woke up in the middle of the night on Friday night. I tuned in for 15 minutes, maybe. One of their characters was swatted. I wouldn't be surprised if they're the ones who did it to that person, Jeff. I wouldn't be surprised if they're the ones who did it to him. But it sounds like maybe he's working with law enforcement and knows what's going on. I saw some individual who seemed particularly scared. I'm trying to recall their name. No, who said they didn't want to go to jail because stalking is illegal, even if it's online. And there are many people who are following them and following the things they do and willing to report them to law enforcement. Not me, my code. I don't work with law enforcement. That's part of my code. So I don't work with law enforcement, but other people are more than willing to. And other people are looking out for me, apparently, including Blazing Scar. I thank you for that. And I'm willing to look. Like, normally I ignore them. That's what they were doing to me, is trying to ignore me and like write me off the timeline somehow. Getting some interesting stuff right now. That's all right. I'll just look at the chat. Yeah, weird, huh? Yeah, they're using Jeff, but Jeff seems like he's got connections with law enforcement, and then somebody else joined who also has connections with law enforcement, and Hoax Wars tried to shut him down. Said he was like victim blaming for saying Jeff had like social media and stuff. But they're spiraling big time. So, oh, I just got Oh, I'm not wearing my earphones. Wow, that's weird. I just got a sensation in my ear. The sound just got blocked. Weird. Sorry, my sound has probably been not as good as it could be. Should be better now. I just got a sensation in my left ear. It was like a not a ringing in my ear, but a like a block. They try to mess with my mind. Um, mm. Okay, cool. Well, thanks, guys. I appreciate that. You guys are super cool. So sorry to be talking about it. Well, I just talk about whatever I talk about every day. So hopefully people get something from it. Apparently people are still at bat in like mortal battle with these people because they have problems with them. I decided to kind of join it on a psychic level. So because I'm looking out for other people who weren't able to have the like I'm not afraid, basically. And they can't gaslight me anymore. So I mean, and I'm willing to suffer. I have to, I suffer every day. And sometimes I think about suicide and stuff. I do, but I'm strong. I made a commitment to stick around. So I suffer to try to help others. Hopefully I can help others with my podcast. You guys want to talk about what's going on in LA? Thanks, Jammers. I appreciate it. Yeah, it is. It is weird. It's like a microcosm of what's going on in the world. They're I don't know what Cicada 3301 is. Oh, and then they influence like other people who are connected to me too. Like, I won't mention them. Doesn't matter. LA is fucked, right? I'm looking at the TV right now, CNN. It says LA on edge, police and riot gear, some protesters throwing objects. There's Mexican flags, more Mexican flags, and then there's upside down American flags being waved. Bunch of Mexican flags. Oh, there's an American flag hung up the right way. I wonder who that is. There might be good people in there, but I'm not going down there. Believe me, some people are like, you got to go down to LA. No thanks. I can observe it from here. I can observe it through my television and through my phone. There's a bunch of looks like National Guard. They're the ones wearing the green, right? National Guard. I don't know. CNN was still trying to spin it last night like it was mostly peaceful. They were going with the mostly peaceful thing last night. Fort Meade Bugatti. Why should I put up with you? I've gone over it. So there's no reason for me to go over it again. I I have some issues, but I did not commit domestic violence ever. I'll say that once again. I did not ever do that. So, and that's the truth. So, I'm not a violent person. So, Fort Meade, that's where Fort Meade is where they do psyops from, right? So, what's your name about? Fort Meade is where I got a letter from Dave Swigert. Dave Swigert sent me a letter from Fort Meade. It's in Maryland, I think. Yeah, they just like discrediting people. It's just so people like Gabe Hoffman can go on Twitter and be like, "Oh, this Holocaust denier is getting divorced." Like they've used it against other people too. They're like, "Oh, his wife left him." It's like people get divorced. Like it's hard for me to work. So maybe it's hard for someone to be in a relationship with me. I'm mentally ill. I was in the psych ward 3 times this year. I'm insane. Like, if I'm driven to insanity, and there are people deliberately trying to do that to me and have been for years and years, deliberately gaslighting me and trying to drive me into crisis deliberately for years and years. So yeah, maybe it's not maybe I can't handle being married, but a lot of people can't. A lot of people go through messy divorces, and it's actually not even that messy. Why should YouTube allow me online? What? They're they're coke addicts online. You're gonna get banned, but I'll go ahead and answer you. Why should they allow me online? What do you There are people that are insane online. There are people that kill people online. These other people actually kill people. Thomas Schoenberger has been implicated in murders. Why should he be allowed online? These people are involved in swattings, wellness checks. They're allowed online. I didn't do any of that. Why are you allowed online? You're stalking me. You know it's going to be a crime what you're doing. What am I being allowed to do for me, Bugatti? You tell me. Please don't ban him for now. What am I being allowed to do right now? You tell me. Who am I harming? You tell me for me, Bugatti. Let's see. What am I being allowed to do right now? Talk on the internet? Say the first thing that comes to my head? Call out gang stalkers? Who I'm not the only one calling them gang stalkers. There are a bunch of people. I'm just saying what I see on the internet. I'm not insane right now. What am I making up lies about? Okay, well, now you're just going to be banned. So I'll ban you myself. My IDs are on this channel. There you go. Maybe that's the last one. Be insane and make up lies? What am I lying about? Thanks, Gina. Appreciate it. They hate seeing that. Thanks for the $10 New Zealand, whatever that is. Apparently that's worth $6.05. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. But those are the people basically. So I'll deal with them as long as I have to. Don't worry about me. It doesn't lower my energy too much. I know people want me to ignore it. And I know it's better. We want to talk about the news and stuff and what's going on in LA and stuff. What's going on in the Diddy trial. There are many distractions in this world. The more important thing that's happening in this world is the takeover of this planet by like demonic forces. It's a slave. I mean, they want it to be a slave planet and they want us all to be slaves. They want to control our minds, particularly if we have certain gifts. So, but yeah, and then you see, what's happening. You see how Democrats are demonic and they want these invaders to take over our country from us. And they want there to be a disintegration of Western civilization, law and order, and everything. So, yeah, I have the screenshot I put up is them throwing bricks. They were throwing bricks at cops. I mean, it's really crazy. And the news is really not covering it. I mean, except for Fox News. I'm seeing what Mexican flags waving. They just want to bring down law and order. And what does it say now? Police and riot gear facing growing protests in Los Angeles. What do these people do during the day? I thought it's because they all have jobs. They obviously don't have jobs if they have time to protest on a Monday. I thought it was just going to be a weekend thing. I thought it was just going to be the weekends. I was like, oh, okay, they come out on the weekends and like riot and stuff, then they have to go back to making tacos. But apparently not. So, yeah, I remember Jordan Sather. I heard he made some kind of agreement. He was involved with those people who were claiming there were going to be 10,000 arrests and stuff. They're like new age fakers. Secret space program. I don't think I believe, well, I don't know if I believe in the secret space program. I'm not really sure. But they were all he was, who was he, who were the scammers that Jordan Sather was associated with? There's one of them I can picture with long hair. He was like one of those alien scammers, and like before QAnon, there was another mass arrests conspiracy theory. It's like a new age cult, basically. Not Corey Good, but he was part of it. Um, Corey Good, I think, was part of it, and then it was this other guy. Um, can't remember his name, but yeah, a lot of these alien people were involved in the same thing. They all bought into QAnon, which was a new age cult, which was a new age cult, but convincing people to do nothing, basically, and just wait for mass arrests and so forth. Which I don't know. Trust the plan. Wilcock, that's who it was. David Wilcock. That's it. David Wilcock. I looked into it because I was looking into QAnon and calling it out as all being a scam and stuff because it was a new age cult. They just lied over and over and over again about people being arrested and stuff. I mean, the first thing they said was a lie. It was like Hillary Clinton's going to be arrested on Monday. That was the first post from QAnon, as far as I remember. I think it was a day before the Las Vegas shooting. And anyway, back in, I don't know, 2012 or something, they did the same thing. They made a documentary about like mass arrests and how it's all going to be televised and there's going to be 10,000 arrests, and never happened. Never going to happen. They're never going to bring down the government. That's why they're never going to release the Epstein files. They're never going to release the Epstein files because it would bring down the government. It's not because Trump was involved, but because so many people were involved. They don't want like, one of their biggest fears is people losing faith in institutions. And there are so many institutions that are based on blackmail and having sex with children that they can't ever reveal it. It will never be revealed. Trump knows it. Ash Patel, lying faggot. I mean, what a liar Cash Patel is. I mean, he just came across completely transparently as a liar on Joe Rogan. I guess they put him on Joe Rogan to try to convince people. And then they're trotting out JD Vance on Theo Vaughn to try to convince people they care about Gaza, maybe. But they'll never reveal the secrets. It's never going to come out. It would bring down the government. They're not going to do that. So you can take my word for it. No, I didn't see that that guy was killed during a traffic stop. That was all a scam too. That guy that supposedly shot up Comet Ping Pong. I looked into his father. I think his father made kiddie porn. I looked into it. I didn't hear he got killed in a traffic stop. I don't think that whole thing happened. And then I don't know about shooting up the hard drive and stuff. That thing Titus Frost was into about there being a hard drive. I just don't know about that with Comet Pizza. Yeah, you remember Jammers? Like his dad had a website and his dad was like, he had a bunch of foster children. His dad had a bunch of foster children and stuff, and he was that kind of guy, you know? So it seemed like they were involved also in like kiddie porn or whatever, possibly. Yeah, Titus Frost. I wasn't going to mention his name. He's influenced by Sophia Music. So, but he makes some great video. Like I enjoy watching his meme videos a lot. He makes great meme videos when I watch them. He does like Friday night meme wars or something, and I laugh a lot. So I really appreciate his content. But there are a bunch of people attached to me who like Thomas Schoenberger, like who's the other one? Um, the crypto guy, who's my friend, who I haven't spoken to. I won't mention his name, but basically anybody attached to me, Thomas Schoenberger would get attached to them. And for some reason they would fall for it. I was one of the only ones who like didn't fall for it. His charm or whatever, like it never worked on me. He tried to recruit me 2017, I think to be Defango. I think I was supposed to be Defango and do the Cicada 3301 thing. I'm not sure. I was invited to a fancy house nearby, and I was like, I don't like it that you email. It was like actually it was very simple. I was like, don't email me. I don't respond to emails. And he would keep emailing me. I was like, just text me. Like, and he wouldn't communicate with me the way I wanted to be communicated with. And I was like, I'm not going. At the last minute, I was like, no, I'm doing a show with I did a show with Jaron that day. And Jaron's a friend of mine. So but yeah, I was invited to like some kind of fancy house nearby that maybe a friend of his owned or something like that. And I was going to be wined and dined or something and invited to be some kind of character in that puzzle or something. And I just said I got a bad feeling about it. At the last minute, I just canceled. I just never got a good feeling about the guy. I tried to warn Defango. I did try to warn Defango. I got confused actually. I thought he was the same as Thomas Paine, and then I interviewed that guy, and that ended up being a huge interview. I think the guy went by Thomas Paine. I thought they were the same person for some reason, but um, I got an interview with him. Like I did get some interviews through Thomas, like, and then I got the interview with Isaac Kappy somehow with Thomas's help. So but then I tried to warn then on the interview, the famous interview with Isaac, I told him, I was like, don't trust Thomas Schoenberger. And then Thomas like would emailed me a bunch of times and was like, I would play nice with him, you know, I would talk to him from time to time. But yeah, Jason, I have a lot of respect for Jared too, especially since he became a globe earther because you realize the sun, there's 24-hour sun in Antarctica, which I knew about the whole time. But that doesn't make me a globe earther. I'm a donut earther and a well, I mean, clearly we have a magnetic field that's shaped like a donut around Earth, the same way we have one coming out of our heart and maybe out of our mind too, an electromagnetic field. But we live in a holographic 3D matrix. So actually the shape of the Earth, we live in a realm of some sort. It's a hologram. It's all hologram. So I think in a way we're both at the same time. That was the picture I had in my mind once. There's like a vortex that comes in the North Pole and goes out the South Pole, but it's kind of flat. I mean, it looks flat. Defango's not gone. I just watched a TikTok from Defango. Oh, if you want to support the show, thanks for the one super chat. If you want to support the show, I am homeless and unemployed and seeking social services. I'm living in a hotel room, broadcasting every day, just trying to do what I can. You can support me by going to buymeacoffee.com/lift the veil. Instead of using YouTube chat where they take like 30%, you can go to buymeacoffee.com/lift the veil at any time. You can use credit cards and stuff, and you can leave a message for me and I'll read it. Or the best way is through Cash App. Cash App is a good app. It's also a great way to buy Bitcoin, which I recommend doing. You can buy $10 of Bitcoin, just set up a recurring purchase on there. Cash App on $ LTV411. You can send it at any time. I need money to eat and to have a place to live right now. I am homeless and unemployed, and I'm seeking social services. I'm going to go to social services tomorrow. So I'm going to see what the state can do to take care of me. Um, but I fucked up and leased a car where my car insurance is super expensive. So my car insurance is super expensive. It's like 500 something a month. So I'm living off of savings right now. But if anybody wants to help, you can help me out. Got a bunch of support yesterday, so I really appreciate it. Any support is appreciated. I try to live relatively modestly. I eat 3 meals a day, um, and buy water. I have trail mix. I get a big bag of trail mix and water at the grocery store across the street. I go out to eat, but I try not to eat anything crazy. I do try to eat healthy. The most expensive thing I have is my acai bowl, which I had today with a shot of turmeric, because I'm also trying to stay healthy and keep my mind right so I can be of service to others. This is what I do to try to be of service to others, is just try to be on the internet. And part of that is still fighting off demons who are harassing other people. So, but yeah. Oh yeah, you saw. Oh, that's cool, Gina. You saw that old interview where I had an OTO person on. Oh, that's interesting. Is that still on this channel? That's interesting. Yeah, I've done a lot of. I mean, this channel's, and then there's another channel called Lift the I don't know what it's called, but there's a third channel. There was a big channel that got deleted, the one that had 100,000 subs. But there's a website. I can't remember the name of it right now, but there's a website that archived a lot of my old videos too. I did a lot of interesting videos. I don't know if social services help white guys in particular, but they help people with mental illnesses. And I'm qualified. I'm unable to work basically. So I think I'm qualified because of my mental health. I have an invisible disease. So I'm gonna go visit them. I have to see a doctor and stuff and get on like disability, and then maybe they'll. And there's a place called Transitions Mental Health, something or other that has some kind of housing. Then I'll get some help from my family. And I think that's what I'm gonna. That's the route I'm gonna take. I don't think I'll be employed. I think I'll be doing this, and then hopefully I'll get my computer and do a better show and be able to do interviews and things like that in the future once I get housing secured, which may take some time. I may be homeless for some time. So, which actually I think I can afford it except for weekends. I think I can afford it except for weekends. So, my cat died, Z Jacob, Z Jacob S. Z Jacob S, Z Jacob S. That's interesting. Yeah, Doshi died. He was a sacrifice. But he's with us, so he's the spiritual producer for the show still. Yeah, but wish me luck. Hopefully, I can get social services as quickly as possible. People say there might be a wait, so I may have to see. I might have to stay at a homeless shelter and stuff. But as long as I can have a bed and have my technology with me, I think I can be okay. I was gonna try living in my car, but then I had that panic attack last night, thinking about living in my car or living in a camp, and I was like, "Oh, I don't think I can handle that." So Jason, I first had my first mental health episode in 2014. I had been a drug addict previous to that. So in 2009, I was using like copious amounts of like opioids and benzodiazepines and alcohol. And I went to detox in 2009, had my first like spiritual awakening where I realized there was like a veil and there was something on the other side of that veil. I remember that distinctly. But then I went back to using drugs. I did like methamphetamine a lot, and anyway, I realized the mental illness. I was put on medication when I quit drugs for depression because I had really severe depression, and one of those drugs was an antipsychotic. So in 2009, I was put on an antipsychotic. I can say what it was. It was called Abilify, which was for depression, which was combined with another drug. With which I can just say what it was. 'Cause I don't even think people use Effexor anymore. So I was put on Effexor and Abilify, and I was on those for a number of years, along with Suboxone. And in 2014, I was selling cars. And I was doing meth too, but I quit Suboxone and I quit the antipsychotic, and I had my first bipolar episode, where I experienced miraculous things, where where things happened in my reality that were uh, impossible, but which I later verified really did happen. Mm. But that was my first bipolar episode in 2014. I was probably 34 or 35 years old. And then since then, I've had a number of bipolar episodes. I had 3 of them this year. So, but the drug addiction may have been a result. And then I had traumatic brain injuries as a child. So, and I'm like super high IQ, um, higher than Owen Benjamin, what he claims. Um, and I had head injuries when I was young, and maybe a near death experience at like 11 months, possibly. They thought I had some illness, which they don't even say is a thing anymore, called croup. And I was put on a ventilator at 11 months. That might have done something to me. And then when I was 7 years old, I was walking off a high dive with my eyes closed, and I hit my head on the side of the pool. And that was my first out of body experience because I don't remember it. And apparently I was conscious. So I was fully conscious and speaking in the ambulance, but I don't remember any of it. So that would be an out of body experience. So that was the first time I was separated, which is what they do in satanic ritual abuse. So now I understand satanic ritual abuse a little bit better. You know, they try to separate they try to make you have an out of body experience. That's when you forget things from trauma. So I had traumatic brain injuries. One when I was 7 years old, and then when I was 8 years old, I got hit by a car and broke the windshield with my head, and also had a short-term memory loss. So you forget trauma. That's why they do satanic ritual abuse, and they make it so evil and so terrifying so that you'll forget, and then your body can be inhabited by something else. So it allows you to have like psychic abilities. And they do it to musical artists, and it allows you to have special abilities, I guess. And now I realize that I'm kind of psychic, basically. And they've been using psychic attacks on me. So, and it influences your life and the people around you to where like people around you, like, it's just really strange. So I'm looking at the chat. And then I was diagnosed with ADHD when I was like 36 or something, like pretty severe ADHD. I was put on, so I was taking methamphetamine, but I was a weird methamphetamine addict because I would sleep and work full time. And I was fat too. So I was using a ton of it, but I would sleep every night, go to work every day. So I was using it as because I had a really strong craving for amphetamines like cocaine originally, and then methamphetamine because of my ADHD, actually. So then I was put on prescription medication for that. So I had been taking that until just the last time I got out of the mental health institution. Now I realize I don't need it anymore. Well, you need it to be functional within the matrix. So, but if I'm not going to work, um, and I don't need to be productive in a normal way, then maybe I don't need it. And maybe it's better for my mental health. So I'm not taking that anymore. I just stopped taking it after this last visit to the mental health facility. I was put on 5150. So, Jason, thank you. You said, I hope I will overcome. And in many ways, I have overcome. In many ways, I have overcome because I'm here. Otherwise, I'd be dead. I came with a suicide program. I was supposed to die in 2023 when I was 44 years old. So, yeah, Phoenix Enigma, I said crucifixion of Jesus is the original trauma based mind control. It is. Christianity is trauma based mind control. That's why he's naked on the cross. Nudity is nudity, believe it or not. You have to be naked to time travel. Nudity is a form of trauma based mind control in a way because, like, maybe you're made to block it out a little bit, but they put him naked on the cross in church to remind you what happens if you try to follow that path. We live in a program that's based on trauma based mind control. You're made to forget. Forgetting is like the most important part of the program. You're made to forget your past lives because we were Jesus Christ. Like maybe all of us were, or maybe specifically the ones that come from that bloodline. But we have inherited the trauma of all of our generations that came before us. Jason Hash, that's true. I went to Mormon church and they didn't have a cross up there at all. They didn't have a cross up there at all. But yeah, the most important thing is that we forget in a way because we come with trauma built into us, the trauma of death. So we forget dying over and over and over again. But I'm conscious that I have died many times. I guess, although I'm not sure. I'm a different like I'm no, I don't have to get into it. T Desiree, you say my boyfriend was just in the newspaper recently. I'm going through a lot of musical initiation crap. My life is hell right now. I'm so sorry. I hope you find some peace from watching my show because I'm suffering too every single day. So I hope you find some peace from watching my show because I'm suffering with you every single day. And I know about the music a little bit because I use music for healing as much as I can. But the music has been torture for me before too. But I use the most advanced technology from Apple to listen to music every day. And I believe it is a form of mind reading technology that they use. You said you're just starting to get on the radar for music and yoga. Interesting. Yeah, I started to get the feeling that every song that came through my headphones, I put my music on. shuffle. There's a channel on Apple Music called Nathan Saltman's channel, or it would be your name, but I there's a channel made just for you, and that's what I listen to pretty much. And it always it changes, and I just imagine that like it's like meant to be whichever. Sometimes I skip songs, sometimes, but I actually try to not skip songs and just use it to tune me as much as possible and try to tune into the frequency. I get different songs at different times. So that's what I do. I use the randomness, the shuffle, the random, and try to imagine that like it's tuned into me somehow. So that's how I use music. I'm sorry you're suffering, T Desiree. You're a nice person. You've been very nice to me. Hey, right. The nudity is it's just required for time travel. That's all. In one of my experiences, I ran out of the house naked, saying that I don't exist. Oh, and this last time, I remember running from police naked. I remember that. And I had wounds on my body. I had like like my feet were all tore up and I was torn up on the side because I got away from the cops somehow. I was naked. I insisted on being naked. And I like insisted on a nurse coming in to see me while I was naked, I think. Like I insisted. But then no nurse ever showed up. Like females weren't didn't exist or something. It was really weird. I have no idea. I had such crazy experiences. But I was running around San Luis Obispo naked in my memory. And I'm okay. Like I didn't get charged with anything. So that's good. Maybe it didn't happen. That's all I can figure. I have no idea. I have no idea. I just remember I think I remember running naked through San Luis Obispo from the police. And they couldn't catch me. They couldn't catch me. It was like they couldn't find me or something. I think that's what I remember, but I don't know. It might have never happened. Oh, what is that? You have some strange language in your text? I got arrested for stalking my neighbor naked? No, I never got arrested for that. Thank you for that, though. No, I never got arrested for that. Thank you, though. Thank you for trying to fuck with me. And like you have some strange Islamic script in there. What is that to try to program me or something? Is that what you're doing? Like, what is that? You have some strange script on your avatar and you're not speaking English in an appropriate way. So what is that? What is that strange script you added? Is that to try to program me somehow? And you have no name? That's very strange. Yeah, I identify as Jewish to a certain extent. I'm from a Jewish bloodline, I guess. Maybe, but I'm Catholic by ritual. And by ritual, I'm Catholic. So I identify as Christian from Jewish blood, the bloodline of Jesus Christ. That's what I was shown at least. So no idea. I identify as Christian. Yeah, I don't know how these rankings work, guys. Yeah, Che Bright or Chi Bright. I don't know why you're number one. It's weird the way the ranking system seems to work. I don't get it. Well, thanks, guys. It's good we don't have that many. Um, oh, that's so strange. You don't use a question mark in the right place. I can go to Jewish Family Services. Yeah, but then they try to brainwash you. I was almost sent to a place where they would teach you the Torah or something, For when I was getting off crystal meth, they like offer that to people where they put you in like a Jewish place and they like teach you the Torah. But no, I'm not looking to do that. I'm just looking to get on regular social services, I think. But I think it was open to me even, but they try to brainwash you to make you Jewish. And I'm never going to be Jewish. Not, well, there's no difference. Well, they didn't accept their Messiah. So. T Desiree, thanks. Go to since 2017. That's good. I'm not exactly a news outlet anymore. I'm an outlet or a plug. I'd like to identify as a plug. That's always a good thing to identify as. But yeah, I'm not exactly Jewish. I don't my family is Catholic on my father's side. And then my mother's side, atheist. My mother's side though is the American side, the folk singer side, the nobility side. Perhaps. They're the ones that founded the town where my parents met, where my bloodline began, my unique bloodline, the one with my mother and father. The Stoltman bloodline is the one I think that comes from, Christ or whatever. There are a lot of clues in there. It seems to be like my family, it just seems to. Well, and then there's the Stoltmans here locally they grow wine without water. There seems to be something very symbolic in Stoltman wine. They grow wine without adding water here, where we have drought year round, because the vines go into the limestone. So it's a very unique. They grow. They're known for their Syrah. So there's Stoltman Vineyards, which is local to here. They're in Los Olivos, which is a special town. So, and the guy that the Stoltman bloodline seems to be a very special bloodline. So, seems to be. Like all of my dad's brothers and sisters are all still alive, and they were all seem to be somewhat successful in their own rights. So, but my bloodline is different because it mixed the Anderson bloodline, which is mixed with the Stoltman bloodline, is what makes mine special. So my mother, that part of the bloodline was also very important. Anderson, Ames Anderson, and my middle name is Ames. So yeah, so that's the mixture. It's Ames, Anderson, and Stoltman, I believe. So, and Ames, I believe, is associated with NASA. Isn't there an Ames facility? AMES. Oh, and there used to be an Ames department store. Yeah, my spiritual the connection in my family, there was a Mary Ames Anderson who was my great aunt who lived in Pasadena. So she was like my spiritual connection, my great aunt Mary Ames Anderson, who left me her life insurance policy or something. She died when I graduated college. I was like her favorite relative, I guess. She didn't give it to my mom. She didn't give it to my brother. She gave it to me. Yeah, there was a research laboratory right in Uckfuggit. So yeah, so that's it. Yeah, and then of course there's Mr. Anderson from The Matrix, Neo. And then the other one is important too, but the which I won't mention because I'm not trying to give away all my because they use like your maiden name, like your mom's maiden name is like used for codes and passwords and stuff. I won't mention what my mom's maiden name is, but that one is also significant if you look it up. So we're trying to do so we were doing 60 minutes, we're up to 75 minutes. That's pretty good, and we're still going strong. 40 thumbs up is pretty good, I feel like. We have real people listening to the show, not fake bots and stuff. That's good. People seem to be getting something out of the show. That's good. I think I'm about ready to wind up. So 700 Marines being mobilized in response to LA protests. So I wonder if this is just going to be going on all summer. I mean, it's amazing people have time during the day to go out there and protest. I don't see any violence right now, which is good, but they're still out on the streets. Have I considered I have extreme heavy metal poisoning from vaping? And I don't have schizophrenia, technically. I'm schizotypal, probably, but not diagnosed with that. I'm just diagnosed as bipolar 1. And sometimes I have bipolar episodes, which which in which like reality changes, which to me is similar to what people say schizophrenia is like, but I'm not diagnosed as schizophrenic. But I understand that. It's like the Jewish curses, the high IQ plus schizotypal or whatever. It's what came from the bloodline, the good bloodline. I guess it's the Ashkenazi bloodline, high IQ and schizo and like high incidence of schizophrenia. It's some kind of magical blood. So I guess it came from Shem. And that's why it was never selected out. Like evolution is a real thing. We did evolve. If schizophrenia was truly something that was not good for us as humans, it would have gone away. But it obviously hasn't gone away. So it's obviously important. And you have to consider whether you know, prophets and stuff like that. I mean, they obviously had something. They would have visions and stuff. And I've had full blown out of body visions. In particular when I was off my meds. That was when I really had visions where I spoke with the creator and I saw the flood. I saw the destruction of this earth. Owen Benjamin says he's a 146 or something like that, I think, IQ. I don't have to say what it is. It doesn't matter. I have no idea. I mean, it doesn't matter in a lot of ways. But the government uses it to get us into their programs. So like they bring you into the GATE program. They test you when you're in like third grade or something, and then they bring you into their special schools where they try to make sure you're programmed the right way. So not fucking you're 98 and you barely drool. Yeah. People like, like in the sense that like they say white people, like I don't like that they use it for racism because they'll say black people have low IQs, and that might be true that like black people have lower IQs than us, but obviously it's not like but they obviously have a different kind of intelligence than we do also because of their sense of rhythm, which is its own kind of intelligence. So, like, I believe musical IQ, like rhythm in particular, rhythm is its own kind of intelligence. And I was taught a special class in rhythm in college by a dark black person from South America who is like some kind of ascended being. So that's something else that's very important because we speak in a rhythm. And we speak in a rhythm, they like NLP. People have accused me of using NLP before. Maybe I do naturally, and Jewish people do. That's why they're lawyers and stuff, is because you speak in this particular rhythm that actually programs people or like brainwash. It doesn't brainwash people exactly, but it programs people. Their, it gets through in a particular way. My voice and actually the tone of my voice, which maybe I need to get a microphone for it to get through better. but the rhythm and tone of my voice has a way of getting through to people, getting through to their subconscious mind. And that's a Jewish thing, I'm pretty sure. So that's why they're all attorneys and stuff. I'm pretty sure. But good community here, you say, T Desiree? That's good. Yeah, Jason, Ashkenazis. Yeah. I might come from an Ashkenazi bloodline. I'm not sure. But yeah, there's something up with all that stuff. All right, good. We did 80 minutes. I'm feeling good. Thanks, everybody. We have 44 thumbs up. That's a good number. If you want to support me, you know the ways to do it. I said it before, buymeacoffee.com/lift the veil, Cash App, $ LTV411, just so I can keep myself fed and try to keep a roof over my head if I can. And appreciate the super chat. And I appreciate everybody. I appreciate all the hearts I'm seeing and stuff. Great talking to people. This gives me something to do every day, and I really appreciate it. It gives me some kind of purpose in my life. So hopefully it helps seeing you guys. Good seeing you too, Phoenix Enigma. All right. And I'll see you guys tomorrow. Same time, 4 p.m. Pacific time, 7 p.m. Eastern time. For now, that's what it is.